Hey, this is Maginoni, and let's talk about Convergence. Now, this is DC's big summer blockbuster event. Now, for those of you who don't know, Convergence is going to take place over 2 months. It's a weekly series. You're looking at 8 core issues, and then a zero issue, which is right here. And but don't let that small number fool you, because there's going to be like approximately, I think it was like 86 different titles that this is going to cross over into. Now, there's been a lot of confusion as to what Convergence is. We do know that Brainiac has gone around and captured heroes, placed them in bottles or dome cities, and he's going to put them into a big experiment by having them fight each other on a world that is outside of time and space. Now, granted, this sounds exactly like Secret Wars, where you had Marvel's event where the Beyonder, outside of some foreign planet that's never been discovered before, basically gathered a group of heroes and villains, threw them on a planet, and they fought. Just to see. Giggles, So, anyways, going back to Convergence, this is what we can figure out so far, especially since this is coming out, like, really quickly. Now, with Convergence, there's going to be, like I mentioned, 50 dome cities. And DC has released a number of these cities in the Zero book and online. So let's take a look at this and how this really impacts you. Now, here's the deal. I really do believe that in some cases, they actually have really well thought out ideas in terms of how certain characters are going to interact. Like, for an example, they can take pre-Flashpoint. They had a story with Speedy or slash Archer, or I'm sorry, Red Arrow, Arsenal. He's gone through many names, but anyways, where he went crazy. He was turning into a villain. A lot of people didn't like the direction that he was going, and DC was basically digging themselves into a hole with this character, and it ended really poorly because it went to Flashpoint. We have a brand new character now. So this is a way that DC could actually go back, add another chapter or two to finish the character out and end him in a nicer way. In other cases, I think this is purely copyright. Like, for an example, Sugar and Spice is an example. Captain Carrot. What does this Sugar and Spice have anything to do with Superman, Batman? Absolutely nothing. How are they going to fight? They're not. So why are you including them? My guess is, part of it's this fan service for 1% of their fan base, and the other is, hey, it's copyright. We have to use some of these characters to keep the copyright relevant. Now, this is the part that really gets me kind of frustrated, in that DC does have a wealth of characters, heroes and villains, but if you notice here, what they're doing, you have Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. That's going to be one world, or one dome city. Then you have the Legionnaires from the 31st century. That's going to be another one. You have different Supermen, and it's just all throughout time. And it's like, to me, it's like you're repeating yourself. But let's take a look at what we have here. We have the 1 million dome city. That is one of their miniseries that DC did. You have the Tangent World, which was another failed offshoot. And I don't mean this as a knock against DC, because I really applauded DC when they did some of these offshoot series, other worlds, and try to do something a little bit different, because this was coming during a time period where we needed to see something different, and because everything was basically like Image and Live Field and all that stuff. So some of this stuff was actually really good attempts. It just never had the sales to support it for long. You have the Bizarro world. You have what's his name called? Jonah Hex in the future. Then there's, why do you need 2 versions of Captain Carrot? One's a much older version and the other one's an older version. Not as old. You have Silver Age Justice League. You have Strange Adventures, which is kind of like who. This is from the 1960s. You have the Elseworlds books, such as the El Inferno. Then there's Gotham by Gaslight, Dracula and Gotham. There is the ever so popular Batman Beyond universe, and the Generations universe. This actually could have been good because this is the Charlton heroes. This would have been like Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, the Question, but here they're focusing on Blue Beetle here. We have Kingdom Come, the Red Sun universe where Russia gets a Superman. Again, another Justice League. We get Jim Lee's Wildstorm Wildcat characters. Silver Age, Green Lantern, Warlords, which is basically kind of like a futuristic world, post-apocalyptic with swords and sorcery, that kind of thing. More of a fantasy setting than science. This is actually more post-apocalyptic. Commandi. Then there's the Future's End world, which Dan Dito led us to believe that this could be a possible future, relating to New 52, but it has nothing to do with New 52. It's in its own little world. Same with Earth 2, but that was understandable because it was labeled as Earth 2. Now, the things that I think you guys are going to want to pay a little bit more attention to is what they're actually going to be doing with these things is this. If you go through the advanced previews, you'll notice that a lot of these worlds or these issues that they're going to be crossing over, it's going to be like 3 of these characters are going to interact with 3 of these characters to battle it out. And then they'll have Shazam and, Miss Marvel, versus Superman, Wonder Woman, and Firestorm from Crisis. And to me, what it looks like is what they're really doing is they're just taking a random assortment of heroes and throwing them against each other. In other cases, like I mentioned before with Arsenal, that was actually kind of like a better use of this type of environment. Because, really, if you really do read these advanced comics, it's pretty much copy and paste, and they just change the names. So to me, it's really insulting. And it's not really appealing overall. But that being said, you're going to have fans of Crisis who are going to jump because they've got to have their Crisis fix, for those heroes. Then you're going to have the Flashpoint heroes. You're going to have Injustice, which is this is probably one of DC's best books. You're going to have this group of heroes. And probably nobody's going to buy it, though, because Injustice doesn't sell tons and tons of books. You're going to have the Just Imagine, where it's like Stan Lee created versions of the characters. Kingdom Come is also going to be another one that's going to be people are going to be looking at because this was the possible DC future where it's like the kids of the heroes, and it was really this is one of DC's actually best stories that came out, and I have a feeling a lot of people are going to jump for this. You'll have the Blue Beetle fans for this. I have a feeling most of the New 52 fans don't even know what's going on with the Elseworlds books, like the Red Rain universe or Gotham by Gaslight, or even Red Sun. But basically, that's just what's going on. It's just a whole. It's a whole lot of randomness. It's not even. While there will be some books that will probably appeal to some people, as you can see, if you're like a new DC reader, you have no concept of what is the difference between this Superman and that Superman, or this Justice League from 1964 and this Justice League from 1960. Don't tell me that's 1965. Yeah. What's the difference between those two? It's ridiculous. It's just this is the Earth. Oh, this is the Earth 3 villains, where it's like the evil versions of the different superheroes, like the Crime Syndicate. That's what that one is. But it's just, who cares? You know, it's like you're just showing clones of the different characters and you're dressing them up a little bit differently. You know, you're gonna see Azrael looking a little bit different than what. I mean, heck, I don't even think they put Azrael in the new. Yeah, I think he wasn't. I don't know if they even have him in the New 52 anymore. No, they didn't have Azrael in the New 52. I don't think. But you're gonna see him as the Iron Batman, and it's just stuff like that. It's. I don't know. For me, it's the main crust of the story is these 8 issues here. So if you really must have this, I would get this. And this is really going to be buy at your own risk. All the other titles. Because I have a feeling there's going to be a load of garbage in this. There's no way these stories can be compelling. None. No way. That they're going to be able to keep up quality for this stuff. But apparently what's going to happen is at the end of Convergence, they're going to overhaul everything. They're going to be getting rid of the New 52 imprint, which you can see they've already done. And I'll be honest, that's very fair for them to do. You know, you can't keep calling this the New 52 when it's 3-4 years already, and it's not new any longer. So that part's fine. But everything's going to... They're not going to make radical changes, most likely. For the most part, you're going to see heroes acting the same way. They'll probably reintroduce other heroes that were long forgotten into the New 52 or the new imprint. You might even see some heroes disappear for a while. So, you know, but that's going to be minor. You might see a death or two. But those deaths are going to be inconsequential because it's not really going to matter, considering you have potentially 50 different Supermen, 50 different Batmans, 50 different Robins, 50 different Green Arrows and Lanterns. And as you can already tell based on the advance comics that DC has given us, there are not a lot of major changes that we can tell, other than they've canceled a bunch of titles and a whole bunch of new titles are going to come out. So don't expect a lot of great changes. Just be very wary of all the mini stuff. Anyways, that's just a basic high-end overview of Convergence. It's a whole lot of... Anyways, like, share. Let me know if you have any questions about Convergence. I probably could have gone on a lot longer, but I'll be honest. A lot of these worlds aren't really that compelling to talk about, like, in depth, other than saying it's the Legion of Superheroes. You know? Okay, here's the new version of the Legion of Superheroes, where, you know, they went in that direction. They were more intergalactic policemen. They got lost in the universe somewhere. You know, other than but that's its own video in itself. Especially all the elsewhere world books. Those are seriously their own little storylines or videos. But anyways, until next time.